Hey guys, again, happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, February 12th, 2019. And I am with second show of the day, the beautiful Madie Zilke. I said it right, Madie
Yes,
Zilke.
Yes, sure
I like it. We're having a great conversation, but we of course want to share it with you because she's got an amazing story. So as you pop on, let us know you can hear us. Colleen, what's up? Give us a thumbs up, give us a heart. Let us know you can hear us and see us. It's very quiet in here today, so I think we're golden. Allie McCarroll gave a thumbs up, so thank you, Allie, for that. So welcome to the show. I'm super excited to have you. So this is not you're not a person who's been around Facebook Live a lot. So
no, this is a first.
I'm very excited that you are here. Your first real Facebook Live show. Thank you. So give them a little background. They always like to know the origin story. So we want to know a little bit about Madie Fisher Zilke.
Okay.
And so tell them a little bit about you.
Well, I'm the fourth generation of Madie Fishers in my family.
Are you really?
Yes, I am. I've been named my great-grandmother, my great-aunt, my aunt, which is in Chicago, and myself. And then we've had pretty much, except one girl, boys all the way down, all my nephews, great-nephews all the way. So.
Wow, so Madie, hey Trisha.
Yeah.
So where is Madie, what kind of, like Madie, you've heard, but Madie, what's the history on that? M-A-D-I-E, if you don't know.
Yeah, M-A-D-I-E. The history of it is, we're not a whole lot sure. I'm not too sure. We do know it means a tower of strength. And it just was passed down through our family through the years. I've met every one of my names that are people that have been named after. And we originally are from Illinois, in Peoria, Illinois, Central. A law enforcement family. I grew up mostly here in Central
That's
Florida.
right. You've been here since you were 10.
10, yes.
Osceola County?
Osceola County, yeah.
That's amazing.
Right in Osceola County. First moved here to BDL area, and I've been in that area ever since.
Hey, Rachel, we were just talking about you. Hey, Rachel, hope you're feeling better.
I like the Maters part.
Hey, Maters.
That is some nicknames I've had.
Well, yeah, I would imagine. I can't even imagine. You must get called Madie all the time. I think I said it earlier, but I know your name's Madie.
It is. It's okay.
I get Bogart all the time.
Bogart,
yeah, even though there's an E in it, folks.
I
Rhymes
get
with
Madie
yogurt.
Zilke.
Madie Zilke. That's why I asked you. I figured Zilke was
Yeah,
right.
that's it.
So Madie Fisher, that's such a cool story, 4 generations.
Yep.
So you're here, you come to Osceola County, you grow up in Osceola County. What did you want to do because obviously most people we joke about on the show, you don't say, hey mom, I want to be a realtor when I grow up.
No, I did always wanted to own my own business, own my own house. So I started out quite young at that. I bought my first house at 18. My parents encouraged me all the way. They never really said, oh, you can't do that, you're too young. They just kept encouraging me, and then it just kind of all fell in place. From the beginning, I started my first business at 23.
And what was your first business?
My first business was an embroidery and screen printing company.
That's right. So when I pull you up today, I tagged you on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I had to look 3 times at it because I'm like, this is not realtor Madie. But embroidery, screen printing.
Yeah.
And how did you get into that? That was something that was in the family,
I
or
worked
just
in high school in that job, and the guy that I worked for would not let me run the embroidery machine, and I wanted to, so I said, forget it. When I'm old enough, I'll buy my own.
I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah. So I did, and we did together. I've been married since 91, and we started the business in 93. All right, very good. We started the business in 93, and then really wanted to have children. We tried for about 12 years, and we just couldn't seem to have a baby.
That's right. So 12 years you tried.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of friends that have gone through that.
Yeah.
A lot of the friends were older, waited a long time to even try.
Right.
And there's such a level of, I just could feel it's agony, it's pain, it's frustration, it's disappointment, it's self-esteem. I mean, there's so many things that you all go through.
Everything.
And so, but you continue to persevere.
We did. We finally, get to that breaking point where you think, oh, this is never going to happen. So I sold the embroidery and screen printing business. I just sold it, and we took 2 years off. Still didn't get pregnant. Still wasn't sure what to do, so we started the business again. And started in 2003. We started another company, same base, same company, same locations, and we still own that business today. My husband runs that company.
Love it.
And I had an assistant that worked for me, and her goal was to be in real estate, and just kind of pushed her along to encourage her. And I said, well, I'll just go with you and help you, create a new job and new income. And That didn't go so hot at first for her.
Why didn't it go so? Because it's a new thing. I mean,
Yeah, it's
it's
different.
new. You
Yeah.
think it's on the other side, especially if you've had a good experience or bad.
Yeah.
It's different when it's your business, when you're the entrepreneur. Everything's up to you to
Right.
make sure it gets done.
Right, definitely. So total different things on her part, but it worked out really well for her in the long run, and she ended up moving to Illinois. But on the real estate side of it, I found it was so much fun and different, and so it just kind of took off, and I love it. I love every part of it. I still love my other business that I work in.
So do you balance both?
I do balance both. So yeah, like this morning, I was measuring a truck to put vehicle lettering on and folding T-shirts, running an embroidery machine, making a contract. And
You're gonna run that embroidery machine.
I'm gonna
My
do it.
God.
I'm gonna do it. And then today, later today, after we're done here, I have a closing and a
Right,
walkthrough
you've
and
got-
2 inspections.
So it's balanced, but I want to go
Yeah.
back really quick. So 12 years,
Yes.
and you have 2 children.
Yes, little
Okay.
miracles.
So the
Surprise.
miracles. So was it came unexpectedly? You had stopped trying, or just here it was? And what was it like to hear that news
Well,
the first time?
This will probably be a surprise to you. I didn't tell you this part of my life. After just selling the business and totally giving up on everything, we went through, oh my gosh, the doctor visits and the shots and everything except
It is so taxing.
it's awful. And I just pretty much gave up. Was doing some work with our church. We went on a missions trip to Honduras, and we're working at a feeding station and doing all kinds of stuff with the kids and involved with the kids. And one of my friends, one of the pastors, prayed over me, and it was a prophecy that by this time next year you'll have a baby. And I thought, oh boy, this guy's a nut job. And I'm thinking he's
Yeah, right,
lost
sir.
his mind after 12 years. I'm sure he's not hearing, from anybody but himself. But then kind of the pressure was on. It was about 30 women that were there, and the pressure and just total denial that you were in at that point. So needless to say, 1 year, almost to the day, my daughter was born.
That gives me chills.
So
That's
it
amazing.
was, when I first seen her, I held her so long, I got a pinched nerve in my neck that I couldn't even move.
Well, I mean, it's always a miracle, but
Yeah.
after 12 years,
Yeah. So there's
that
hope.
is it's like the fulfillment of that dream, and you finally get to realize
Yeah.
that dream of being a parent and whatever your dream is.
Yeah.
But you waited so long to hold that baby. Of course, I wouldn't have wanted. I mean, I'd never let my kids go anyway, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't have wanted to let the baby go either.
Yeah, I didn't. I probably still am a little crazy about that.
Well, I
mean,
get
at
it.
14, she wants me to put her down.
I'm sure she does. I'm not sure you can carry her
No,
anymore.
she could
I always
probably-
threaten my son. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're 6'4". Let daddy
Yeah,
carry
you're
you.
not
No,
gonna
I
do
would
it.
die. He's like, I'd throw your back
Yeah.
out. Then I got to take care of you, Dad.
Yeah,
That's not gonna
forget it.
happen.
Not gonna do it.
And then, so you had a second child.
Yep. So we were. My daughter was 9 months old, and I had an embroidery and screen printing company, and we also did signs. So I went to go fix a sign for this attorney, and when I went to go up in the lift, it used to bother me before, but I got about 5 feet off the ground, and it totally panicked me. So I couldn't do it. So my dad was with me, and my mom and dad have always been supportive, and right next to me, my dad was right there with me, and he said, "What's the matter with you?" And I said, "I can't do it. I'm going to have to walk you through it from the ground. I cannot do it."
And
So-
you had never experienced that before.
No, never been afraid of heights. This is kind of freaking me out right now, looking over the window. Not too bad though.
It's all right. You can't run through those.
No,
so you're
that's
bold.
good. That's good. So I went back to the office, and one of my friends was there, and she goes, "Oh, don't worry, you're pregnant again." And I said, "One miracle's enough. I'll take whatever God's got for me." And sure enough, I was pregnant with my son.
Unbelievable.
So I have two. They're now 13 and 14. They're about 18 months apart. My daughter's 14, and my son is 13. And
How does
both-
that change your life? So when you have, that's something you've always wanted, do you feel like that made you a different parent? Because, a lot of times, like I looked across the room at Stacy, and we were very blessed 3 times over. But it still was such a beautiful thing that I get
Yeah.
choked up talking about. When you became a parent, Do you feel like that whole struggle, all of that you went through, made you a different kind of parent?
Yeah.
And how was that parenting? I would think, I'm going to tell you how I feel because I'm going to tell you, and I don't know if this is true, but I would be like, I never want to let you out of my sight.
Yeah.
I love you to death. Of course, I didn't have anything growing up, so I wanted to give my kids everything.
Yes.
Probably overindulge.
That's my husband, right?
Okay, so
That's my husband.
I'm
Well,
with you,
myself too,
husband.
yeah.
I still to this day, Stacey will look at me. She goes, "You created this," and they're all in their 20s.
This is so
and
true.
so, but I would have it no other way.
No, I wouldn't either.
But I imagine that must have impacted your parenting.
Oh yeah, it did. I think it made me a better parent. I think if I look back in the timing of it all, if I was younger, I don't think I would have been a good of a parent or as good of a parent because I would have been too busy and I was consumed with business and making money and now that is great. Yeah, it's wonderful, but it's not everything.
Right.
So watching my kids grow up, seeing my son plays baseball, and watching him play, and even going to the little league openings is like, you waited and waited. And so today's my daughter dances and she's trying out for flag football today.
No way.
So she's doing something totally out
Very
of the ordinary,
cool.
totally out of her scope of what she's used to, kind of like me on Facebook Live right now.
Right? You're doing fantastic.
Thanks.
You're doing
So
fantastic.
yeah, so we both are doing something totally out of our comfort zone today.
But I think that's awesome that you're able to give the kids that, and I do think a lot of it's timing. There's a lot of people who have children that you're never really ready.
Yeah.
You don't really know what
right.
you don't know. But I think that if you want something for that long and then it finally comes to fruition and you're blessed with it, that it just gives you a different perspective on things.
It gives you hope, that's for sure.
Gives you a lot of hope, and it allows you to, children, I can't talk enough about how it changed my life being a parent and how awesome that was, cathartic, it was wonderful, it still is. But I can't imagine waiting and going through all of that and then finally getting two miracles back to back.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
definitely. It's great.
That's awesome.
Don't
All right.
usually want to miss anything.
You don't want to miss anything.
No,
I
that's
tell
right.
my friends that you don't want to miss anything. Now my kids, that's their button pusher.
Yeah.
If they ever want to push my buttons, they're like, "Well, you didn't go to anything, Daddy." I'm like, "Are you insane? You just don't remember. Who do you think was taking all the videos of the videos you watch?
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody was. It wasn't your mother."
Yeah.
All right. So you get into real estate. You're in real estate now. You're currently the president of the Women's Council of Realtors, Osceola County
that's right.
Network.
Yep.
Use network. Did I get it all in
Good
there?
job, you did.
Woo! I
Yes,
said
you
network.
did.
I didn't,
Great job.
say chapter.
Yeah.
And how do I have to say that? What's that like? And tell me a little bit about the organization and why that's important to you. Because I think a lot of realtors get caught up. Why would I want to network? And it's the same in any industry. Why would I want to network with other people in my industry?
Gotcha.
Now, what do you say to them?
I think my broker was the past president, and when I first got in real estate, I wanted to do everything exactly like her. Patrice has always been a great role model for me. Even she's a retired deputy sheriff, and she was the president at the time, and we just kind of, I just kind of fell into going to that. And what I learned the first couple of months involved in networking with the women that I've met, and I went to Chicago with the first trip, and the knowledge that I learned from them as a rookie agent, just sitting around talking, it really impacted. I'm sitting with seasoned agents, some of probably the best in our state, and they don't know really who I am or how many weeks I've been into it. And I'm learning, they're saying, "Oh, these are rookie mistakes," or "This is this," or and they're just talking about things, and I'm thinking I'm learning so much right now. I found networking with other people, like in our own county, has changed on when you put in a contract that maybe that person on the other side now knows you because they've met you. It changes. You get 5 offers in on a home, and they're all exactly the same. Who do you want to work with? Who do you know will close the deal? And that's happened to me several times, and it's because through Women's Council that I've actually met these people, or through my brokerage that we've had contact. But generally, it's through through Women's Council that I've met different leaders, and I've met other realtors that have helped the transaction for my buyer
Right.
or my seller on the other end, because I know we'll get to closing. So that was the power
It's
of the
really
networking.
powerful, right?
There.
People ask me why I'm involved, why you're involved in women. Well, first of all, I like women.
Yeah.
Second of all, the group itself, just normally the way it's built, they're very supportive. The network does a lot of business within the network.
Yes.
So we exchange a lot of business, and if you see somebody on a regular basis, like Madie was saying, you get to know that person, you get to see what they're like outside of a transaction.
Right.
And if you begin to develop a relationship with them, that's somebody you want to be in the transaction. So it has such a positive impact on your overall business. Plus, there are certain people who don't like to do certain types of homes.
Right.
I'll give you an example. Or if you get somebody who doesn't want to work in Osceola County, but they have a referral in Kissimmee and they want to send it, well, they're going to send it to somebody who's part of the network, who's
That's
part
right.
of that, and it doesn't have to be just Osceola. If you're an Orlando chapter, gosh, darn, network, Orlando network, and you don't want to go to St. Cloud, then of course you're going to refer it to somebody who's in the network in Osceola County. So, and that goes along with any industry you're in. I have friends that are in, they do stuff in the medical field, and they're like, I hate going to these events where it's all of us who are all selling the same type of thing. We're all selling medical sales, Ted. Why would I go to that? I'm like, why wouldn't you go to that? That's where you learn. That's where you could meet your future employer. That's where somebody could send you a referral. That's where you never know. So don't discount networking when you're trying to build your brand and build your business. I think it's a huge mistake.
Right.
And so Osceola, like Orlando, there's a lot of education involved.
Yeah.
There's a lot of support. They really do try to come up with programming that's important. And also helps you.
Yes.
It's not just you're being thrown facts at, you're actually being educated in ways that are going to help your business.
Definitely. I definitely agree.
So tell me about your business. Let's talk a little bit. We talked with Mandy was on, and I see her watching. Hi, Mandy.
Hi, Mandy.
And we were talking about branding. How do you work your referrals? Is your database your biggest, your client referrals? Is that your biggest and best source of business? And if so, how do you work your database to keep it relevant and to keep in touch with them?
That's where I struggle the most, like keeping the constant contact with them.
It's hard, right?
It is. And my database is very large because we've been in business in Osceola County since 1993, and we've dealt with so many business owners throughout the years, and people and, just different friends and contacts. So, I mean, it is like a dream, because it just keeps coming faster than I can really keep up with it, which is, I'm thankful for. So keeping in the contact, the biggest thing I want to make sure I do is to be thankful.
Amen.
At the end, after it's over with, I really, I want to be thankful that they keep, they chose me, and I can help them. First time home buyers, to keep them where they're at in their home, make sure they know where to call, or if they need anything, that they know where to call.
Well, you become a resource for them,
yes,
and a trusted resource. And I think that's another thing. I want people to think of me as Angie's List, but make it Ted's List.
Yes,
and I don't care
that's
if they're looking for a mortgage or not.
Yeah.
I want them to think of me,
Yeah.
and I want to be the person they go to when they say, "Do you know somebody who does embroidery in Osceola County?
Right.
Do you know someone?" And I want to be the answer to that, because
Yes.
actually I've been here as long as you've been here.
Yeah.
I know people in every avenue, every walk of life, every type of business, and the more that I am valuable to them as a resource, the better it is for my business.
Yes, definitely.
And I would imagine in Osceola County, that's kind of it's not a small county, but it's a tight-knit county.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody kind of knows everybody. You've got Kissimmee, St. Cloud, and then I forget what some of the other cities are in there. Harmony.
Celebration.
Yes, Celebration.
Yeah.
But it's tight-knit. Everybody kind of knows each other.
Yes, they do. Yeah, or somebody knows somebody in the county. And even like if you didn't know anybody and you just moved to the area and you don't know, sit down and start with the alphabet. A, find an AC guy. B, find a baker. Go all the way through and just make the contacts and make the call, introduce yourself. And if somebody calls you and asks for a baker, or somebody who can make cupcakes for their kid, you've already made the contact with them, and now you're referring them, and it costs nothing. So if you don't know what to do when you first start in real estate and you don't have any contacts, make your own contact list. Call them up, and you're referring them. Now all of a sudden they're referring you.
It's so important to give that out. Planting seeds we talk about on the show a lot. I mean, there are some things where I'm making referrals to people who are making money and doing really well years before I see anything from it, and sometimes never, but you can't. There's Cassie.
Hi, Cassie.
You can't, she is amazing.
So are you, Cassie. Great leader.
Absolutely. She is a great leader. You can't give things and do things with an expectation of anything in return. And I think if you spend your life doing that, well, I did this for you, why haven't you done anything for me? That's going to be a very lonely, unproductive life for you. So
and it's not going to come back.
It doesn't, and you know what? Maybe it doesn't, but you still did the right thing, and that's what I try to tell people.
You just keep plugging away.
I get blessed 100-fold over by many things that never directly came back to me, but as a result, in some way, shape, or form, I know they're connected.
That's right.
I know somebody up there is watching out for me and paying attention.
Yeah.
And so it just comes to fruition. It just happens. But I never go into it expecting anything from somebody when I try to help them out.
That's the
So what do you tell people about the market now? What's your opinion? And you can talk Osceola, you can talk general market. The news paints a lot of negative stories out there about how everything's so bad. Yeah. What are you seeing in the real estate market?
In the real estate market, for me, it really depends on the price point. For me personally, I found, and it boils back down to who you know too. And if you've got a buyer for that property, you can kind of connect them quickly. As far as is it slowing down for me? No, I don't feel it is. We always have our struggles on certain things, and but you just figure out a way to be creative to get the buyers to that house. If it's your listing and it's not in someone's price point, you find the ones that are in the price point. So I think you could look at anything and say, oh God, it's terrible right now, but I think it's all in your mindset.
Macaroon, Danny Hernandez says. We love Danny. Danny is the president of Oscar, which is the Osceola, it's kind of like Aura. It's the Realtors Association out in Osceola County. He's awesome.
And that's my association. Hi,
and
Danny.
that is yours. We love him. I think that's true. Like, I feel like the market is good. The people are...
Hey, Danny.
It's really good. But it's a matter of where you're looking for good. If you are outside of a price point that doesn't make any sense, and you have to know your niche, you have to know your market. Shots on WC. We don't say WCR anymore, Danny.
It's okay. You can now.
You can say. I say it all the time. You have to know you kind of have to know where the market is. So the more seasoned you are, the more research you do, the more questions you ask, the more people you network with and learn from, the better. Yes. And so then you can know, well, if this particular price point isn't working time and time again, stop focusing on that price point.
Right.
If you're in the market and that's the only price point you can afford, well, think about it for a little bit. Go to a different market. Find a different area. Work with a realtor who's willing to shots on Danny. I love my audience because it's all about the shots. We love you guys too. But I think people get so caught up in this one thing isn't working and they're missing the 99 other things that could be working.
Yeah, and find them. Go find some different ones. Figure out a way to get your house sold or find something for that buyer in that price point.
The same with business. So if your business isn't working and I have a friend, and I don't know if she's on here, I won't call her out. She has a very unique service that she provides, and the price point wasn't working for the group that she was getting introduced to. So she was getting frustrated and saying, well, they can't afford me. And I said, well, then why don't you adjust you?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got all these people saying, I'd like to work with you, but adjust your price point. Create a price point for that niche. Create the service that is affordable for them, because wouldn't it be great to have 100 people at a less amount than 0 at the amount that you think you should have? Yeah. I mean, I think there are ways to reframe it. I think people get so caught up. That's why I think the real estate market is good. I think it is positive. I think that the rates are still historically low on the mortgage side. Right. And so I don't know why people are just shying away when there are so many great deals out there.
Definitely. And the Florida bond program is back in for Osceola
Everything.
County?
It's 2019. It's a
Yeah.
new world. We can start all over again. That's the
Yeah,
best part
that's
about
right.
it.
That's
There
it.
is money, and so what we find in Orlando, and you can tell me if it's different in Osceola, is the apartment complexes are. First of all, they're going up so much. The rents are outrageous.
Yeah.
And so if you can afford that rent, wouldn't it be nice to be able to write that rent off and have a house
Yeah.
of your own?
Exactly.
I'm not trying to diss any of my apartment complex friends, but it just seems crazy to me to pay $2,000 a month for something downtown that's like a 1-bedroom, 1-bath,
Right.
when you could have a beautiful home with a yard for a lot less than that.
Yeah.
So
And
don't
have a guy mow it.
and have a guy mow it and a pool guy too. I mean, throw it all in there.
That's it.
But there are ways for you to look at things positively, I guess, is what that's all about. And dreams really do come
Yes,
true
they
was the title that I chose just after seeing the basic story that Madie told me,
Yeah.
especially about the kids, which is
It is
I love
great.
kids. That whole thing is just awesome to me. You really can find your niche, and so you just have to kind of work at it. Sometimes the dreams come true, but there's some work involved.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
We don't sit up here. We work hard every single day, and we have to continue to work. You have to continue to put the blood, sweat, and tears in, and you have great days and you have bad days. People are like, you're always in a good mood. Well, sometimes you have to choose to be in a good mood.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you have to choose it.
Sometimes I have to look for the joy, which we did a show about that. That doesn't mean I'm happy 24/7. I just have to find the joy in the situation.
That's right.
All right, so we're going to share all of Madie's contact information, how you can reach out to her, how you can utilize her as a resource, how you can get involved with Women's Council of
Yes,
Realtors. You don't have to be a realtor and you don't have to be a woman to
That's right.
join.
That's right.
They're always looking for people to get involved, to somehow participate, to sponsor events. There's all sorts of things that you can do. And so we'll share that after the show. All right, any parting words of wisdom for them? Anything you want to share before we head out?
No, we have our first realtors. It's called Builder Speed Dating, which is meet the local builders and the new communities in our area. That is Thursday at Kissimmee Bay Country Club. There'll be a link on.
Shots, Dan. I love you.
There'll be a link on my Facebook page, and yeah, the one thing, my theme is hustle and heart. You got to hustle to get anything, but keep your heart in it.
Amen. Amen. You were great. So
Thanks,
see,
thank
you
you.
did it.
Thanks.
It was easy, right?
Yeah, a little nerve-wracking. No,
Oh
good.
my God,
No,
you were
it's
so
good.
good. You're a natural. So show some love to Madie. Reach out to her. She'll reach back out to you guys. We'll talk about shots 1,000 times
Yeah,
over.
thanks, Deb.
Have a wonderful day,
Okay.
and we'll be back tomorrow, hopefully at some point. But I'll see you guys soon.
Bye.